to access the diversities of the information that usually don't reply to censor subject. And then when the people explore about it and enjoy about it comes to be their life stress. In my country, it also comes to be like a life stress. In the shelter, in the ministry, in prison, lots of people who are like a business guy and he just wrote something in his Facebook to express his feelings. And right now he's in jail.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a really important, realistic, pragmatic observation about not all societies and not all administrations are as tolerant as others of freedom of expression. Right? We can name other countries that have similar problems. I don't think that there is a magic formula that opens society up. I think it almost requires a degree of patience that is hard to accept to get some societies to open up. Sometimes you have to be able to show incrementally that these kinds of open exchanges are not free. Now, this gets into a piece of politics. Anyone who is in power wants to stay there. And anything that threatens that position can easily lead to action. And I don't think that there's any argument, rational argument that you can make that will persuade someone who wants to stay in that position to do anything other than defend the position and try to eliminate opposition. So I'm just an engineer. I'm not a politician. I'm not an economist. I'm not even a philosopher. So I don't know what the right tactics are for dealing with something like that, except to observe that over the long run, persistence of willingness to push for expression, the freedom of expression, has been a pretty powerful force, even if it takes a long time for that to happen. When sometimes for reasons other than that force, things collapse and you have opportunities to be more open. When you watch the fall of the Soviet Union. So maybe another possibility is that if you can't express your views within the context of the country you're in for the reasons you described, can you draw on your friends from other parts of the world that have a more free opportunity to say things, who can't be shut down because of a complaint in country? Now, I hope that I'm not fomenting revolution here. but I believe that if we learned anything from the internet, we've learned that and from the internet society, we've learned that we can be a society that is above the level of our national entities. We discover each other because of our common interests, not necessarily because of common geography. And the net, and the web especially, have made it possible for you to discover each other because you know that you have this common interest. So I wonder if there isn't a kind of collaborative way of getting the expressions out there, even if you have to be careful about exactly where they pop up, which websites they show up. So I don't know if that's useful advice, but it certainly has worked in other cases where the collaboration becomes very powerful. So we don't want you to go to jail. But we want
maybe.
Yeah.
My trial will start next year.
We don't want you to go to jail. But we want your ideas. We want your ideas to become an expression sometimes. So we remember in the story of the Soviet Union, the Sunnis Act, the papers that were typed on carbon paper and people would hand them out, and you were not supposed to read this and you were supposed to read that. But there was this underlying effort to share information. So we need to make a kind of really hard. So I don't know if that's I don't know how powerful that could be, but it's a way of trying to get those ideas out. So that's how I would go about it. And Internet Society chapters in Thailand?
Not yet. We have like a Pan-Mexican network that we try to form among the user internet users to
So, let me take one other wacky problem. We have problems in the United States too. And sometimes it's because the legislators who make the laws don't have a deep enough understanding of how the internet works. We don't want to turn them into engineers, but we want them to have a model that they can use to reason about legislation so they don't make rules that can't work. So I honestly wondered whether comic books wouldn't be an interesting way of presenting some of the ideas about how this works. Comics have a very interesting, powerful, simple way of presenting ideas. So, I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but maybe we should be making comic books for people to read about how the network works. Just enough to get kind of the right ideas.
Of internet.
Yeah, something like that. But there the purpose is to try to help the legislators and the politicians recognize how important these things
And the judges also.
Yeah. Yes, fair enough. Now, I think even in the most repressive parts of the world, there is a growing recognition of the economic importance of the internet. And even, the Chinese, for example, have expressed all kinds of desire to keep certain kinds of things from being visible, recognize how important this technology is to them. They have the largest population of the internet, 400 million people, and rapidly expanding. So there's a big organization they can use to help people recognize that the economic opportunity to either draw in tourism, to draw attention to products and services, has a very direct economic benefit. So that's yet another possibility.
Some of the work with